Hello there, I'm Danny Mack. I'm a chaplain with Christian Care Hospice. And today I'm going to talk to you about making life make sense in a COVID-19 world. And if you're like me, it has not been making sense for a long time. And this is an illustration of what we've been going through. It started out like this. This is the world we were living in. Then we heard COVID-19 had come to the United States, and we thought, well, that'll be something that'll pass through. But then we had the 2-week lockdown. And so our world slowly began to come to an end. But if you're like me, I thought, well, 2 weeks, I can handle that. But then all of a sudden it was like, well, it's gonna end up being 6 weeks. And then maybe it'll be by the time Easter comes. And maybe by the time Memorial Day comes. Then maybe the COVID-19 will be gone by the time of the 4th of July. Then maybe Labor Day. And now it's past Christmas, past New Year's. Now we're into 2021, and the world we were living in has come to an end. And so we were living in this world, and it has slowly collapsed. And now we're living in a world we've never lived in before. I call it the unworld of COVID-19. It's a world you've never lived in before. And we struggle to figure out how are we going to live in this world. And so I'm going to show you some of the feelings we've gone through, and that'll help you to make sense of what you've been feeling. So it's like this. We were living in this world, and then we started experiencing the stages of grief. So first there was shock. Oh, okay, there's a pandemic. Oh, there's people who are dying. And then there was shock, and then there was denial. It's not going to be that bad. Do I really need to wear a mask? Really? I can't be with my friends? I have to stay 6 feet apart? I mean, there's some denial there, and we just thought, well, this is going to go away, but it didn't. So there's shock, denial, and then there was some anger. I don't like this. Do you like it? I haven't liked it. That's for sure. I've had some anger, and I get tired of wearing that mask, and I don't like people telling me what to do, how to live my life. And so there's some anger, and then all of a sudden you realize it continues to go, and there's depression. And then you start feeling bad, and then you're inside all the time. You're isolated. You can't be with your friends. You can't go to church. It's a crazy world. It's a world where you can't go to church, but you can go to the liquor store. Who ever thought of that? Did you think there would be a day that the churches would be closed and the liquor stores would be open? You didn't think it would be that day. And so you get depressed, and then you come to a place of acceptance. You come to a place of acceptance. Okay, I'm going to have to wear my mask everywhere I go, all the time. And I'm going to stay 6 feet apart. And I can't be with my family the way I want to be, or with my friends. It's just the way it's going to be. But what happens is we don't move through those stages in like an orderly fashion. What happens is we go through it, it goes like this, and then we go back to denial, then we go into acceptance, and then we get angry again, and then we get depressed again. And we keep going through these different stages. And what we've been feeling oftentimes is something that's hard to describe, because there's like an underlying fear that we feel. And that fear is coming from grieving the old world, wishing we could be back in the world we used to be in. C.S. Lewis said in his book, A Grief Observed, he said, I didn't know grief felt so much like fear. And that's what it can feel like. You're fearful to go outside, fearful to go to the store, fearful to get around crowds. We stay in a constant state of fear. And what happens is we begin to experience what people call caution fatigue. We get so tired of being cautious all the time. You just can't be in a state of caution 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it not be affecting you. And so I'm going to share with you today some insights into why you may be feeling the way you're feeling. And one of them is there's a loss of predictability. And so you had a way that you used to live your life. You had a way you get up in the morning, you get dressed, you have your breakfast. For me, I go through Chick-fil-A every morning, 4-count chicken mini and a large Diet Coke. That's my predictability. So I get to work, and I have the way I do things at work, and I start my work day, and I start doing things. Well, all of that has gotten disrupted during the COVID-19 unworld that we've been living in. And our predictability has totally been set aside. For instance, my wife and I, we have predictability in our life. Like every Wednesday night, we would watch Survivor because we thought Survivor was great. It's so much like church, people talking about you behind your back and trying to vote you out. And so, we had the things that we do all the time, but all of that has changed. We don't have the predictable world that we're living in now. And then we've had the loss of relationships. We've had the loss of relationships. We can't gather with family. I talked to somebody the other day who said they haven't been with their family since March. Can you see how that is? We are created to have relationships. It's not good for us to be alone. And when we're alone, that monkey brain begins to go. We have those thoughts that go over and over and over and over, and we begin to think about negative things. It produces a negativity that happens in our life. And so we are created to be with the people that we love and we care about, and we're not able to be with them. And now we are even doing church services online. And there was something about going to church and being with people, and church was more than the sermon. It was more than just the music. It was about being with people, and now you're having to watch it online. And then you're binge watching on Netflix, the loss of relationship. And then once you've gone through everything that you want to watch on Netflix, what do you do then? What are you going to do? So you have been going through this loss of relationship. And that's part of the feelings that you're feeling. You're grieving the way you were able to relate to your friends and your family, even your coworkers, the way you did before. We can't even get coworkers together. We have to do it on Zoom. I had somebody ask me, how do you do team building in a COVID world? I said, well, you can't really do team building on Zoom. It's just too difficult to do. You have to be with people to have a team. And then here's another thing. We had a loss of innocence. So we live in a death-denying and grief-denying world. And so all of a sudden, we started seeing on television how many people died today from COVID. How many people died this week. You may hear on the news that we had the highest death count than we've had throughout this whole thing. And so you might hear about that on the news today. So before, you weren't getting a death count every day. You were living a life where unless somebody in your family or your friends or your circle of people you're with, you wouldn't know that other people were dying. And in the United States of America, someone is dying every 9 seconds before COVID-19. So we lived an innocent life that people we love could die. And now we're living in a world in which our innocence has been shattered. We've had our innocence broken, that we could have somebody we love die maybe this week. They could catch COVID this week, and then they could die by the end of the week. And here's the reality. None of us know we have the rest of today to live. None of us know that. And we know that intellectually, but we don't live that on a psychological, emotional, spiritual level in our lives every day. But now we do. It's in your face all the time. There's sickness, there's death. You're seeing it all the time, and it's broken your innocence about the world you live in, and that there's people who will be dying. The people you love will one day leave you, as will happen to all of us. And then there's the shattering of the dominant paradigm. And so there's the dominant paradigm we were living in. It's that world I was showing you is the world we were living in. And that whole dominant paradigm of our lives. See, our brains have been set up to think in a certain way. This is the way we live our lives, and this is the way America is. This is the way we live in Texas. Everything has changed. And then you had a season in which the Dallas Cowboys were supposed to go to the Super Bowl, and it didn't work out. There's nothing working out for us, right? So we have to begin to see that our dominant paradigm has been destroyed. We're living in an unworld. We're living in a world we haven't ever been in before. And so it's difficult for us to live in this world. And then we have to see that we experience it with waves of reality. And so first of all, when COVID-19 came and we had to be isolated, that was a wave of reality that came. Then it's lasting longer, and that's another wave. And then it's like the waves get smaller, and maybe this is going to go away. And then we have like a little wave. Okay, we've gone through the day, we haven't thought about it much. Maybe I didn't have to wear my mask much. It's just a little wave, and then all of a sudden another great big wave comes in. All of a sudden there's a spike again. And what's happening in COVID-19? Then all of a sudden we become fearful again. Then all of a sudden we realize we've lost our predictability. We've lost our relationships. We lost our innocence. Our dominant paradigm has been totally shattered. And so how do we live in this unworld? What do you do when you don't know what to do? So I'm gonna give you some tips. First of all, when you don't know what to do, admit you don't know what to do. It's okay to admit you're struggling. All of us are struggling. Let me tell you something. All of us go through times that we don't know what to do. The leaders of our country don't know what to do. Everybody's trying to find their way. It's okay that you don't know what to do. And then the second thing is to do what you know to do. There are some things you know to do that you can do. First of all, we know we need to have proper nutrition. We need to drink plenty of liquids. We need to have some exercise. It doesn't mean that you have to go out and join a gym. You can't join a gym now, but you can get some exercise, even if it's just a minimal amount of exercise. You need to have that. You do need to have some social interaction. Can you call people on the phone? Are there people you can get with and that you can social distance and have some relationships and do it in a safe way? There are things that you know to do. Are you taking your medications? Are you keeping up with your doctor's appointments? Do the things that you know to do. If you do those basic things, that can increase your immune system, and it makes you feel better, and it helps you go through this time. And so admit you don't know what to do. Do the things you know to do. Then ask someone who does know what to do. At Christian Care Centers and Christian Care Communities and Services, what we do, we have a lot of experts here on our team. We have teammates who can help you. So ask someone for help. Ask activity directors, ask social workers, ask the chaplain, ask a minister. Ask people that know information that can help you out. And so be willing to reach out and ask for help. And then here's a very important thing. Don't catastrophize the future. Anytime we're thinking about the future, we're just making up the future. It's our imagination. 80% of what we imagine will not happen. And here's what you need to see. The vast majority of people are surviving COVID-19. We hear about the deaths all the time, but we have many people who are surviving this, and they're going on to live their lives just like they did before. So here's what I want you to do. Do not catastrophize the future. So let me review what I've said. We're living in the unworld of COVID-19. We've had a loss of predictability, loss of relationship, loss of innocence. We've had the shattering of our innocence, and the dominant paradigm has gone away, and we have waves of reality that come in. So what do we do? What do we do when we don't know what to do? We admit we don't know what to do, right? We do what we do know what to do. Do the things you know to do, ask someone who can help, and don't catastrophize the future. I hope this helps you today, and I want to leave you with this thought. I want to leave you with the thought that you have unlimited possibilities ahead for you in your life. There's going to be people come into your life who you don't even know who they are. You probably haven't ever met me before, but now I've come into your life to give you some help. There's going to be people who come into your life that are going to help you. You're going to have opportunity come your way that you couldn't even imagine what it was going to be like. You're going to have resources that come your way that you don't even know what they are. You're going to have good things ahead for you that you can't even imagine what they are. And they're going to come to you. So when you look at the future and you don't know what to say, you can say to yourself, I have unlimited possibilities coming my way. I don't know what they are yet, but I know they're coming. So you go out there and you have a great day and go through this world of the unworld of COVID-19, and don't just survive, go out there and thrive. Thank you for letting me talk to you today.